Hey there, this is Laura with Potpourri of Life, and I mentioned to you before that part of my vlogs are going to be about cooking as well. And this is a simple recipe that many people make, very different variations. It's a quiche. I don't make it generally for myself. I love quiche, but it doesn't love me. So what I do is I make it for my husband because he really enjoys it. He likes the fact that he can take what he needs for work and and go, and then that way, because he leaves earlier than I desire to wake up, so he can, once it's ready, it's in the refrigerator, and he can take a serving out for himself. So you missed the fun time. I was frying up the bacon, and this has never happened in a long time. Both smoke detectors were going off. On the good side, we know they work. We bought them about 6 months ago. We haven't had problems. I'm just going to sit back and say, okay, I'm really glad that these work. But I feel bad because when they went off, it woke my husband up. And here I am trying to do a surprise for him so that the quiche is ready for him when he wakes up. I leave him a little love note, and there he has he can get his quiche, he'll smile, he'll go off to work, and he'll be happy. So I'm going to have to think of another surprise that he's not aware of, but I felt bad because he came running out, and what is going on? And I did. I had smoke everywhere. So right now, it's a great night. It's actually kind of nice outside. There's a nice, beautiful breeze because we're waiting for, we might get some thunder showers, but we're supposed to get some rain in a little bit. And so I've got the windows open. We got fans going, and last I looked in the living room, that was still kind of a little bit smoky, but it'll come out. I don't have any, fortunately with me not doing any alterations right now, I don't have any wedding gowns in there, so yay. So what I'm doing right now is I'm adding the bacon to the pan in which this is too hot still. I can put this over here. So I'm just putting a layer of bacon, and this is how I do it. I normally would put broccoli or mushrooms or something of his favorite vegetable. Mushroom is one of his favorites, but he does eat broccoli, and I try to get him a lot of greens, and because he's not very fond of many vegetables. So when I make something like this that he likes, I try to incorporate that. But sadly, I think I mentioned I'm not sure if I did yet, but sadly when I go to the store, the produce is not hanging out very well for very long. And I don't have any mushrooms dry that I know of. I could probably go check in a second, because I will put some mushrooms that I might have dried and put that right in for him. But I don't think he's going to have a problem if I just make this, just a bacon quiche with onions. So right now I've got the milk. I use whole milk, and I used eggs. I used 6 eggs, a cup of milk, and it's been blended pretty good. I haven't put my spices in yet. What I want to do before it gets too far along in getting hot, or cooling down, excuse me, I'm going to put onions in over here too, because he doesn't necessarily like onions, but he knows that I do like to put them in the quiche and a lot of other foods. He doesn't complain, so I tried chopping them up small enough, so I'll know later if it's small enough. He doesn't yell at me. All he does is he just kind of pushes it aside, and he just lets me know, could you try again to make it smaller? And that's actually kind of nice. He's not upset about any of that. Alright, so I'm going to get the oven warmed up. And while I do that, because I've got plenty of bacon in there, so I'll just set that other bacon aside for, I'll put that away. I might put it in the freezer or something, so a future quiche or a dish that I may want to put bacon in. One thing that I do with my bacon grease, you might not approve, but it's fine if you don't agree. What I do, and it's rather yummy, is, sorry, I've got to put these things in the sink so I can, alright. What I do with my bacon grease is I put it through a sieve. Let me see, I know I have one. I used it earlier. Okay. And make sure you use a metal one when you put hot oil through. From experience, I can tell you it's not cool not to do that. Because I put it through a metal one once, so I didn't want to consume the grease that I had done. So I make sure I have metal ones now. I actually have 2 of these for that cause. So what I do, hold on. And I don't use paper towels much, but I'm not going to use my rags for this. So what I do, I just get it all set up to go in here. And I very slowly pour the grease into the jar. You know what? That's a lot of grease. That bacon had a lot of grease. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to maybe I could do it this way, I'm not sure. Once it gets to, so it has like a cup in here, because it'll start wearing it down, so I'll be able to pour it down, and then it'll just start working itself. It'll shape itself down. I'm mumbling because I have a hard time talking while I'm thinking. So all this blogging stuff is all new to me. So what I do is I put it through the paper towel. You can use a filter, a coffee filter from, we don't use coffee makers that require a coffee filter, but I do have coffee filters in the house if we ever need it for different purposes and stuff. So what I'm doing is I'm putting it through, and basically I'm taking out all the extra things, like the little tiny pieces of bacon bits and stuff like that. And yes, I'll throw it away. I know that some people might think, why? Because when I'm saving my bacon grease, I'm using it for baking other things. It already will give it a nice bacon flavor. So there's no reason for me to keep all that little bit, and it's not going to be that much, to be honest with you. Let me see if this is cool enough to handle. I've been working hard on my upper body strength. Oh, I'm doing good, doing good, doing good. Because over the course of the years, I've lost a lot of muscle strength. And I won't go into that right here because it's not necessary. So that actually hurts my muscles. But then again, my upper because of all the yard work I've been doing and all the weeding and stuff and lifting pots and stuff, these muscles here haven't been used in a long time. And I'm actually enjoying this year because I'm actually getting outside and doing more. Now, while that goes through, I'm going to show you this. The jar's not hot on the top, so I got this nice golden color. And when it goes through, and there's no little bits. This is one that I took out of the refrigerator, and this is what it just solidifies. And I don't keep it on my counter because some people do, because they go through it a lot. And we don't do that. We just use the grease for something that we might want to have it. It could be a vegetable or something that we want bacon flavor, but we don't want to cook up a pound of bacon. So that's really helpful when we want that kind of flavor. You could put a little bit in the pan if you want to make a grilled cheese. And no, that's another item I can't eat unless I'm having dairy-free cheese and gluten-free bread. And it's not the same. But I'm actually working on making homemade breads more. I do pretty good on a basic white, but I'm trying to do more artesian breads. And so far I haven't, they come out okay. The last few have not been too flat, although I think if we were starving we would eat it. I'm trying to do more gluten-free, and he's okay doing that with me, which is kind of nice. So I've got my bacon all set. I've got that. I've got my eggs ready. I've got my grease and doing its thing. Now, I typically do not measure, so I mean, yeah, I got 6 eggs and I got a cup of milk. That's about all you're going to get from me. The onion, I just take any size onion, chop it up fine, although I'm not sure if he'll grade these are fine, the way he likes it. But then I'll add in, I don't have any fresh garlic right now, so I'll just add in some garlic that I have here. Since there's onion already in it, I won't put onion powder, because if I didn't have onions on hand, I would do the onion powder. Here, I'm going to save that for last. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put salt and pepper, and I'm not a big salt and pepper user at all, but, or I never used to be, but now I'm using it more and more, because, well, the pepper most especially, but the salt I really wasn't. And then I started reading up a little bit, and it's like, I mean, I can put salt in my pickles. I can put salt on, French fries. We don't even eat that very much. Because we don't eat much for salt, we can't even enjoy potato chips because it's just too salty for us. Alright, so I got my seasonings in. Let me see, is there anything else? Oh yeah, one thing I don't want to forget. I did this one time. I smile because he's a very gracious person and he forgives me easily. Don't forget the cheese. So, and then we purposely bought this the other day, so I don't want to forget it. You need to put about, for this size quiche, I put about 8 ounces in, so this is a 2-pound bag. But basically what I do is I just cover it, I eye it, but, you know, it's, and he likes things really cheesy, so, and since I don't eat it, I don't have a problem filling it with the cheese that he wants. Most especially considering that I woke him up because of the bacon burning. I'm laughing now and I'm just like, that's really not nice of me. But he wasn't mad, so I was kind of glad about that. Alright, so now I'm just pouring the egg, milk, and seasoning mixture on over this. And I like to make sure that everything is covered. There we go. And the reason I held the paprika out is because I like the way it looks. I like the way it looks on top. And then I know that the whole quiche has paprika over it. And he, over the course of the years as I've been making these, he really likes it. Now, I do buy paprika in bulk because I use it in a lot of various dishes. I put it in like potato salad. If I make macaroni salad, I'll put it in that as well. But on the quiche, it's really needed. Okay, now let's see this. Here, it's all filtered out. And I'm really pleased with how it turned out. So I throw this paper towel away, not in the compost, of course, but and take it off the stove. I love when things come out so clear. It's sort of like, it just looks like honey, but it won't look like that. It's going to turn white. Just to show you the difference again, is this is the grease and this is the new grease. And to confirm how little we use of this is And this lasts a long time as long as you refrigerate it. I don't think it even goes bad. I've never seen it go bad for me. Um, it lasts a long time, but like if you're going camping and you don't want to bring butter, it's great because everybody has eggs, and I mean sometimes we bring bacon, but sometimes that's a pain in the neck to bring. Okay, the oven's up to temp, and so I just put the quiche in for about 50 minutes. And I won't keep talking until it's done, but maybe I'll just post a picture of the finished product. But so tonight was supposed to be a romantic surprise for my husband, so that he would wake up and have a nice little quiche dinner for him. And things just happened. It must have been the type of bacon it was. Can I blame the bacon? I'm going to blame the bacon because I was watching it and it was on a low heat because I don't like doing fast cooking on the bacon. But it just... And there was a lot of grease in it that I normally don't get out of it, so I'm kind of thinking it's the bacon. But if not, it happened. So I still have some leftover bacon here. Oh, one of the things that, I don't know if you noticed it, this here is something that my husband made me for Christmas. I saw these shakers and I told him, I said, you know what I would really like? I love these type of shakers where I can grind the salt and the pepper down so that we can use whole pepper and the whole salt. And I told him I would use those because I want real salt, not the stuff that they, not the table salt. And I know they iodized it, but I don't know, I think we can get iodine in a lot of other foods like our kale, anything that is fish related, the greens, the algae and stuff. And I do make supplements with those. So I'm not too worried about iodine, but we keep an eye on that kind of stuff. And if something happens, he has blood work and he needs to have more, certainly I would add in whatever it's needed. But I try to add that kind of stuff in a more natural way. You will find that I don't like additives in my food or in my medications, even my supplements. I don't buy many supplements at all, and part of the reason is they're not all made the same, and Big Pharma is in charge of many, but there are some supplements that are made by, I get mine from some places that are Native American, so some of those things I get made for me, but that's something that they sell, so it's not like I custom order it or anything. But I do order what I want, and they're new supplements that I started, and I'm doing it because one of my problems as I got older, I don't like using that as an excuse as to why things are happening to my body, but my hair's getting thinner, and I can blame all kinds of stuff. I can speculate, but I really don't know why. So I started using these other supplements, and we're starting to see subtle changes that my hair is filling out a little bit better. So that gives me my confidence back, which is kind of nice. And so one day at a time, maybe in a year we'll know. So while this is cooking, I will be putting the bacon that's left over, because I only used half of it. Yay! Tempted to eat it, yes, but I'm also, both my husband and I are both trying to lose, I think he needs to lose 20 pounds too. We both want to lose about 20 pounds. And I know that's not a lot to some, but it's a lot to us. We get on the scale and we know that we're on that overweight side. And a lot of people, I've heard people say, oh, you shouldn't be worried about that. It's not a matter of being worried about being overweight, because we don't body shame each other at all. And I know that I grew up, that was a big thing, but why I like to be down at a certain weight is because I feel healthier. I feel more alive. And And I gained weight back when I got diagnosed with Lyme after being on the antibiotics and being tired. When you're tired, you don't get the exercise that you need. So in all of this, I just do my best, and I don't know why I went down that little tangent, but we like bacon, that's for sure. I'm not all vegan. I know that it's really good to just eat an all vegetable diet. And although I know we can get protein in some of the foods, my husband doesn't eat all the same foods that I eat. So we incorporate meat. And I'll be honest with you, my favorite dish is a steak, a real good steak. I like a good hamburger. We buy 90%, so it's only, 10% fat or something. Because in order to make a good meatloaf, a good hamburger, you need a little bit of fat in there. So we still consume the meat. We prefer fish, so we eat that. We hope to go fishing. Another tangent here. I have not gone fishing in a long time, like when I was a kid. And I was fishing at my father's cottage. We were visiting, and I didn't like worms at all. I was like, that was just so creepy. So my father wouldn't let me fish unless I was willing to put a worm on the hook. So I said, nope, not going to do it. Well, lo and behold, my husband doesn't use worms, but over time, I have come to I admire worms because of our compost. When I was turning it took me all week to turn. We have a big compost, about the size of skids. So you have one on the side, one in the back, one on the other side, and then my husband made a thing so we could put slats down. And it's two sides, so we have the working pile and then we have the compost. So we've already emptied out the good compost, and so that's what I've been working with in my garden. And so in order to he dug it out because my shoulders couldn't handle that, but I decided that I was going to, I should say I did dig some out, like when he wasn't home I would go out and fill a small 5-gallon bucket and grab it that way, but he emptied it all into 2 big trash barrels for me, so it's over by where I work. But throughout the week I would go in and I would take out a bit of the working compost, and this way it's getting turned. So I would flip it over, put a little bit of lime on it, and let it sit. And I did that for a week until it was all turned over. And of course, when we get down to the bottom, we have awesome compost with worms and everything else. And I did put some of that over there. So yeah, we do a lot of composting. So I try not to put much out there for vegetables, because what I try to do with those is I try to make bone broth, vegetable broth, and then they go out there. But sometimes, like the mushrooms were bad before I could use them. Those end up in the compost. And it's the reason why we're trying to grow more of our own vegetables this year, because I'll have more control. When I go out there and I have too many tomatoes, I know that I have to spend that day canning tomatoes. But when you go to the store and you pick up 3 or 4, you really don't expect to have to can them before you can use them. So, but anyways, this is what I do for him. I haven't decided what I'm going to do for a dessert. He's been asking for molasses cookies, or there's another name for them, but I make those, and it takes coffee, molasses, and I'll put raisins in it, and it's actually a really good cookie. But again, to keep me out of those, because with me trying to lose the weight, he has more control over desserts than I do. I'll be honest. I don't care how healthy I eat. There are some foods that I can overconsume, including salad. Sometimes I can make a real big salad, and it's not so much the salad, it's that you need a little bit more dressing, and that's not necessarily what I need to do. So to lose that extra 20 pounds, I'm trying to be more aware of that, And you know, it's not like yeah, it's just, that's what I'm doing. So, but anyways, I thank you for listening, and hopefully he will like this and still love me in the morning, and I hope he gets enough rest. But at least he'll have lunch, and that can be good. Well, thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you have a great weekend. It's still Memorial Day weekend. This is Friday night before. Um, so I hope you have a great weekend. And remember, Memorial Day is about those who have died serving us. And we should be honored to know that we have people in our country that desire to fight for our freedoms. And we live in a crazy, crazy world right now. And we have to believe it's going to get better. And so, have a great night. I hope you're all well. Take care.